How is everybody doing? How is everybody? So, the South African government is trying to raise taxes again on South Africans, which is something that is really confusing to me and to a lot of people who watch, who do financial reporting and things like that. It's very confusing. There is a proposed 4% fuel levy increase, which basically affects everything that happens in South Africa, because everything in South Africa gets done by the road, which means fuel has to be paid for that. This is so confusing. And I'm really trying to understand in terms of what are these people trying to accomplish by this? What are they trying to accomplish? There is there is a lot that I don't understand when it comes to the South African government. I've even asked myself this question before, which I've asked also in these videos, in that what do the South African government think their primary function and primary purpose is? Or put it differently, what do they think is the reason for their existence? Because if you look in terms of everything that has happened, just looking in terms of this fiscal year, there's really nothing that they've done except try to raise taxes on South Africans. So then the question for me then is that if your full-time job is to be in government, whatever your understanding of what the purpose for that is, and the only thing that you are trying to do is raise taxes, let's just put aside about the good or the bad of that policy. And if there's nothing else that you are doing, and if there's one thing that you are repeatedly trying to do, every policy that you are passing goes towards you increasing taxes. The question for me then is, what do you think your primary purpose and your primary function is in government? They tried earlier in the year to raise taxes by the way of increasing value added tax or the sales tax to my fellow Americans. This effort received almost universal condemnation, getting the Democratic Alliance and the economic freedom fighters to be strange bedfellows and to agree on one thing, which is a very rare occurrence. I don't remember a time that these two have ever agreed on anything, but they agreed on their rejection of increasing of the value-added tax, albeit from different vantage points and from with different motivations. Now, the South African government have come up with another bright idea. They are again trying to raise taxes, this time the fuel levy. And the question for me is, why? Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? There is so much bemusement and confusion with regards to this suggested policy action that I have to ask the question in terms of why? Why? What do you think the reason is for your existence? What do you think your primary function is? What do you think your job is? I understand that each and every one of us we do what we do because we want something. and that includes government officials. So then the real question is, what do you want? What do you want, Jack? And that's a question that we have to ask, because I'm so confused. Like, I'm so confused right now. Like, this is a question that Sawyer in the series Lost asked Jack Shepherd in an episode of season 5, episode 17, when Jack Shepherd was trying to blow up the island. And he asked him, Jack, what do you want? And I wanted to play this for you because it felt that it was so fitting for this particular context.
Speak destiny. What I do understand is a man does what he does because he wants something for himself. What do you want, Jack?
Yep, there it is. A man does what he does because he wants something for himself. What do you want, Jack? What do you want? I really would like to know. Like, the South African government has been so confusing to me that, like, there's nothing that they do that makes sense to me. Can someone please explain to me, maybe in the comments below, if you understand why they are doing what they are doing, in terms of what is the purpose of this? The unemployment rate in South Africa is around 40%. You have millions of South Africans who are economically active, like permanently economically inactive, who haven't worked in years, who haven't earned an income in years, who haven't been productive in years. You're having companies failing left, right, and center. What is the purpose of this policy? We know that since South Africa doesn't have a functional railway, everything that get consumed at home is transported by road. Whether it's food, whether every consumer goods, they have to be transported by road from the harbor in Durban, Richards Bay, and the PE harbor and the Cape Town harbor into inland areas. And even when it's been transported from those areas into inland, and sometimes they have to be transported from major centers like Johannesburg, Pretoria, Rustenburg, to other areas into the coast, like when they are transporting finished goods from Rustenburg to the harbor to be exported, or to further into the country, like Polokwane or Potchefstroom and places like that. Whether it's food, whether it's fast moving consumer goods, they have to. And so whenever there is an increase in fuel, which is a tax which is imposed by the government, it affects the consumer. And the overwhelming majority of the poor poor South Africans use taxis for their transport. In fact, I think close to 50% of South African workers, they spend more than half of their monthly earnings just on transport, having to pay taxes, traveling from Soweto to Johannesburg, or traveling from Soshanguve to Pretoria, or traveling from Mamelodi to Pretoria, traveling from Khayelitsha to Cape Town, or Delft to Cape Town. Whether you're using taxis or using buses, people are using exorbitant amounts of money in terms of as per percentage of monthly income for transport. So then when the government is increasing fuel levy, what is the purpose of it? And it can't possibly be that they are just trying to raise more revenue. Because the government does not exist primarily to raise revenue. I'll leave it up to you to decide what does the government exist for. But it can't possibly be that their primary function is to raise revenue. So then the question is that since they are not doing anything for South Africans, and the only thing that they are doing is try by every means possible to raise taxes, the question is that what do they want? What exactly do they want? I'm so confused. I'm so perplexed. It's astonishing. It's really astonishing and disappointing. Yeah, let me know what you think, folks, below on the comments below. Yeah, see you on the next one.